Coach, first of all, what's it like being back in Mississippi again?
It's great. I mean, when I got the call from Coach Shoup and had the opportunity to come back, I mean, it's been phenomenal. An hour away from my mom and my family, and 3 hours away from my wife's family, so it's been really good.
Was that one of the biggest pulls to come? What was the chance to be close to family, the chance to kind of be back in your home state?
Well, yeah, just being back in the home state and being close to family was big, but then just being around this staff and knowing some of the guys on this staff, know what they're all about, what they stand for, and all that, and then having the opportunity to be back in this conference was really big.
What are your early impressions of the guys you're inheriting?
I tell you, they've been working their behind off. I know we lost a lot, obviously up front. We'll be tested inside early. I think the only guy that really has significant playing experience is Lee Autry inside, and so we're going to have to replace those guys inside. But those guys are working their behind off, and they're working hard. And then then the edge guys, we're pretty experienced on the edge. So hopefully those guys will continue to get better there and make a lot of headway.
How do you see, on that subject, a guy like, I talked to Coach Moorhead, and said y'all have had discussions with Marquis Spencer about possibly moving inside. How do you see that adjustment for him?
Well, we've just talked about it, but we haven't even talked to him about it or anything like that. And right now we're status quo going like it. He ended up, he'll start outside, and and sometimes we get maybe in our third down package stuff. He can go inside and become a three technique for us or something like that. But that's stuff that we'll do down the road. This spring, they're all new to me. I'm new to them. It's just about learning who they are and what they have, and seeing where we can fit everything in and be successful in this defense like they have.
From a numbers perspective, you've got a pretty big freshman class coming in. What's the first order of business with those guys to see which ones could potentially contribute immediately?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just to find out where they are. I mean, it's pretty tough to come in this conference and be thrown in, especially as a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman. Right away, but that's going to be the first level of I guess work that we do. We're just trying to figure out where they are and what they can do and what their tools are. And it might be a situation to where they only play limited snaps in a game, but we're going to find it out early. And the best part about it is, with the new rule, you can play guys for 4 games, and so we can find some things out pretty early.
You got one of those guys, one of those signees already over here, and like you said, you'll find out more about King Ani in the spring, but how's he kind of adjusted so far?
Well, he's been fine. He's a little banged up right now. Got a couple things he's going to go through. I'm not sure how available he'll be this spring, but we'll see as it goes right now.
How is the kind of the potential for a guy like Chauncey Rivers? We saw flashes of him last year. The more reps that he gets on the field. Well,
it's huge. I had the opportunity. I'm be around Chauncey a little bit during high school. When I was at another school in this conference, and I've known him for a while, and just to watch him play and all the tape that we watched up to this point, I think this is really going to be a really big year for him, really good year. I'm expecting a lot out of him. I'm expecting him to, lead the group because, I really believe he has the most experience of the group, and so I'm excited about him, and we're going to work day to day and see where it goes.
You mentioned being close to family. From a recruiting perspective, you're familiar with this state too, recruiting. How much has that helped? And obviously the fact that this state produces a lot of good defensive linemen.
It's been huge. I haven't been in the state recruiting in a while. It's been about 5 or 6 years, but a lot of the guys that were here when I left are still here, and I know them all, and so it'll be big. And and just like when our other coaches talked about, there's a lot of schools coming in this state now poaching our kids, and we've got to do a better job of making sure we keep them in state.
You mentioned the losses on the interior of the defensive line. What's the skill set you look for? How does one kind of prove themselves and earn playing time from you?
Well, the biggest thing with me is, and I tell guys all the time, there's no set order of who plays and who doesn't play. I mean, I don't care if you're a freshman. I don't care if you are a senior. If the defense is better when you're on the field, you play. That's plain and simple. And there's no order of that. And so everybody will get their opportunity, and it'll work its way out, and it'll pan out. And when those young guys get in, we're going to throw them in the fire early and see where they come out.
How's it been with Coach Shoup so far, and how much were you impressed with the job he did last year with this group?
I was extremely impressed with all of those guys. I mean, the entire defensive staff, and they did a phenomenal job to be #1 defense in the country. I mean, it's hard to do that, especially in this conference, on this side of the conference. It's tough. So Coach Shoop's a great coach, and Coach Buckley and Coach Baker and those guys, and Coach Lukabu, those guys did a great job. And we're excited about keeping this trend going and continuing the defensive history here.
On that note, what's it like coming to a program that sort of set an expectation to be one of the best defensive, especially up front, one of the best defensive teams in the conference and maybe even the nation?
Well, it's no different than what you put on yourself as a coach. I mean, you want to be the best in the country. You want to be the best in the conference, regardless. So you're going to work your behind off to do that. Now, it doesn't change anything what I do daily and what we do from a daily standpoint of the way we work and our drills and things like that. We still have to go to work. And just because the history states that they've done this, it doesn't mean this is going to happen if you just because you show up. So you got to show up and work every day.